the liter of diesel has surpassed the price of the liter of petrol. My question is, this UNOC veto marriage, at what price does it land? First of all, at what price does it buy a barrel of oil from the high seas, and at what price does it land it here? That's number one. Number two, with a sole monopoly distributor, how comes the oil marketers, each one has their own pricing? What is the role of UNOC in controlling the price, the pump price to the consumers? And then lastly, somebody spoke about Kabalega Industrial Park. We read in the news some time back that UNOC launched the Kabalega Industrial Park, and since then we have seen a lot of noise from the kingdom, from the chairman of Hoima district about not being involved, about the haziness in which this park is being created. Can you give us some light and assurance? Why are you doing things in the dark by hiding from key stakeholders? Or what happened? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Chair, and the Minister and your team. My question today is focused on the mining sector. It is very important. I want to build from Chair, the observations you made at the beginning about some of the concerns. I want to be informed if
stations. Number 4, the status of our reserves. Why are prices stagnating at around 6,000 prices of fuel? Is it because of the global forces the PS talked about? And then the corporate social responsibility, especially ECOP, the pipeline route. Madam Chair talked of the where there is mining in Kasanda, you find there's no water, people are suffering. Now, even this ECOP, you find people have no power, people have no water. So what is your corporate social responsibility as ECOP in this? And still, Madam Chair hinted on this issue. This Masode Nkoko Narwe Road, which the ministry abandoned, because Ministry of Works took the oil roads that Ministry of Energy handed over through your consultancy. This road is very key. The pipeline route crosses it actually more than 3 times. It's more than 3 times, around 5 times. The ECOP, the pipeline route for the refined and the crude oil. Why do you abandon this road? Whom are you leaving it for? If Minister of Energy demands for this road, the government listens. You've abandoned this road. The trucks which were ferrying the pipes for the pipeline used this road. You were silent about this road. Why? Can this be a priority? Can it be budgeted for? These are government resources. We are asking Energy, can you demand for this road? Because you are using it. Honorable Minister, PS, and the commissioners. And then lastly, I've seen the prayers you're making for the committee to be in support of, and one of them is on safeguarding ERA's ability to retain and apply statutory revenues.
The commissioner can handle ECOP.
Members need to know the status for the PAPs. Many of us come from those areas, including I. Needless to say that Jankwanzi is, I think, one of the few districts that will have 2 pipelines. The refined products and the one of ECOP. And over and again, we have complaints of PAPs who have not been compensated.
Honorable Chair, on the compensations, that's a responsible to
will be able to answer.
Yeah.
So we would like to know the status of compensations on the refinery pipeline and the ECOP pipeline. The committee would like also to hear and perhaps to know the status of licenses of explorations, mining licenses, and other licenses in that category. And we would also need to have a list to know how have we licensed Uganda, so that we can appreciate that in your licenses, how far have you handled the issue of local content, both in the exploration and the mining licenses. We would like to hear from the upstream, how do you license petrol stations? You find a petrol station next to each other, and we have very many of them in wetlands. When I travel from Chankwanzi, when I reach Chiboga, there is that area, the wetland called Nakayenga. Really, you find a petrol station in Nakayenga. I want to know who has licensed that. We'd like to know how safe are we, irrespective of the Iran-American issues. How prepared are we as Ugandans with our oil reserves? Because it informs the pricing. Because today, when you look at the meters at the petrol stations, I think it is almost stagnating in 6,000. That determines the status of our economy. So I'd like to know the status of our reserves. The committee would like to know how have you handled the social corporate responsibilities, especially on the ECOP, while the Petroleum Act protects, the way we did it, it protects, the regime protects the areas with the oil wells. The Mining Act does not do the protection of the areas. But under what window do we make sure that the areas where there is mining, the populations are protected, the populations have services? Because while we are seeing roads, water and other programs in the Albertine, which is very good, how far have we prepared for the areas where you have allocated mining licenses? I have a chance to go through Bukuya because they are neighboring Chankwanzi. But you cannot appreciate that our gold readings, how much Bukuya has added on the gold readings of Uganda. They don't have electricity. I know that ample time Honorable Kenya today has come for that. They have no services. They don't have social services, water. They are living at the mercy of the miners who are putting up generators. How do we prepare the infrastructure for areas? The committee would like also to know how far have we gone with the beneficiation? In that the president put an embargo, which was so good and we support it, on the export of raw minerals so that we add value. How far have we moved in? Because Uganda is endowed. The committee would like to know how far on the GEO surveys. What are your findings? How does Uganda look in that sense of the GEO surveys? How far have we mineralized? How far have we built local content in the issue of the beneficiation? Or we are only wishing that we have the international companies to undertake the issue of beneficiation. I have had a chance to move on the ECOP line because it passes through Chankwanzi before it goes to Kakumiro. I saw how those trucks that were carrying the pipes were suffering to get the roads where to pass. And this was a mistake of the ministry because we engaged you before when you were with your consultancy, when you removed that road of Masode, Ntwetwe, Nkoko, Chisita, Nabyo, Kakumiro road from the oil wells, thinking that we don't have oil wells in Chankwanza and Kakumiro. But now ECOP is passing there. How do you expect those trucks and even the management of the ECOP line without power, without roads? Because when we go to the Ministry of Works, they say, but some of that part, though we work, we do, it is determined, the priorities are determined by the sector. That is the ministry. So those are some of the issues that where I know the members will add on, but in summary, that we would like to hear from you when you are reporting to us the status of the sector. Having said so, Honorable Minister, over to you now and your team. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I'm not going to present it now. As you may have seen from the introduction, the energy group is not here. They're actually putting the answers that you raised yesterday, answers to the questions you raised yesterday. They will come when the time comes for us to respond. Secondly, Chair, your submission, the questions may not be answered in this presentation because the team was prepared to bring you on board. What is it that they are doing? Then, if you may permit, I'm going to ask them to have a session where we can take you in depth and all your questions will be answered before even you ask them. Because today is just giving you an overview. It is a summary. But I would want then each department, each agency to be given a chance to tell you in depth what they do. This would be a retreat which we can have maybe for 2 days. One day will be for energy, the next day is for extractives, and they will be talking in detail.
And how soon can that be?
I'll get back to my team after this, and they are hearing that I will want this one to be done urgently. They have got to mobilize resources where you will get to know us, not only just a permanent secretary talking, but each head of department will talk what he's doing. They will go into that depth. The energy guys will tell you how they intend to go to reach your villages, how they intend to actually address what you are saying, affirmative action. In case there is a program of a Ministry of Energy, how you'll benefit from other subsectors to address the challenges in your respective areas. I would therefore request that I proceed to introduce today's discussion.
No, Chair, clarification before the Minister proceeds.
Granted.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, whereas I appreciate the proposal of the Minister in terms of, I introduce myself. Okay, once again, for record purpose, I'm Alan Atugonza, Member of Parliament for Bulisa County in Bulisa District. One of those you...
The owner of the oil wells.
That's why I'm here. Thank you. Chair, the clarification I just wanted to get, whereas I appreciate the Minister's proposal that today we listen from them and they come for an in-depth kind of presentation. Chair addresses challenges, and I do presume these are challenges of the ministry. We also have challenges from our areas or from this side. In order for you to have a comprehensive report, we would request that we also have a slot where we can give you our challenges. You incorporate them in the response when you are coming to present to us in your discussion. Yes.
Honorable members, in the interest of time, as we did yesterday, I request you